Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 32 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. Hope you had a great Christmas. Happy New Year to you. And the New Orleans Saints are hoping it's a Happy New Year when they take on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers before the turn of the new year in a game that decides everything for them as far as their postseason aspirations are concerned. There are many possibilities, but the most obvious is that they simply have to win the game. And if they do, they're in the playoffs. And if they are, they're likely going to be the 6th seed, although we don't know that based on what happens in 2 other venues.
Exactly. It would be scoreboard watching early in the day in the Georgia Dome when Carolina plays Atlanta. If Atlanta can pull the upset, suddenly the Saints are playing for a division title and a 2 seed. And then going on at the same time will be San Francisco and Arizona in Glendale. And that will have an impact as well, because if the Saints lose, Arizona can win and knock the Saints out of the playoffs. If the Saints win and Arizona win, bumps the Saints up to the 5 seed if the aforementioned Carolina upset doesn't happen. So 2, 5, or 6 are the 3 possibilities where the Saints could end up, or, of course, out. But if they were to make the playoffs, those are the 3 possibilities in terms of seeding.
Yeah, you can read my blog on the game and why I think the Saints will win at SportsNola.com, which is posted today on Friday. Now, as you look at recent history, the Saints whipped Tampa Bay, beat them badly here last year, 40-0, beat them here 2 years ago. But if Sean Payton wants motivation, just point to 2009 and 2010 when the Saints lost in weeks 15 and 16, respectively, at home to Tampa Bay.
Yeah, and that's not that too far removed. And while there's been a lot of turnover, there has been, a lot of those same guys are still around. And one of the things that Sean Payton is great at is bringing out whatever it is statistically or historically that plays to his situation, whether it's how a team finished and, the fact that, hey, you've still got, and maybe these are the kind of things he saves for next week, but, how a team finishes and how that means you do in the playoffs and that sort of thing. He will find the right buttons to push with this group of players to get them motivated to play on Sunday. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Well, the Buccaneers, of course, played the Saints off their feet earlier this year, and the Saints stole the game at Tampa Bay with a drive late to win the game. Tampa Bay was bad offensively, and that's why the Saints had a chance to win, because they were bad offensively as well. But at home, the Saints are a different football team, and everything is on the line, so you have to expect that they're going to get this done against Tampa Bay. One other note before we move on to the Saints went out of their way this week, Sean Payton and Drew Brees in particular, to talk down Teron Armstead's performance against Carolina last week, saying how he played admirably to even good, which obviously was not the case when you're responsible for maybe 3 sacks, 2 for sure, maybe a third, and then 2 false start penalties. Regardless of what else you did during the game, that's not a good performance.
No, it's not. And now, obviously, you could put it in perspective. It's the first time the guy has taken an NFL snap. It was the equivalent of playing the first game of a rookie year. And, here we are in week 16 of the season getting that chance. So he's been essentially sitting on the side now for 15 weeks with a few snaps on special teams on occasion. Most of the time, he hasn't even been active. And all of a sudden, he is thrown into a difficult situation in the biggest game of the year. I think from that standpoint, you could say, yes, he did perform admirably. Did he perform effectively? I'm not so sure about that. But, I know some things have been pointed out about, the Saints seem to be more effective in the run game on Sunday, and they were. Yeah. And he possibly had to do a lot of those things. Clearly, this guy was a third-round pick for a reason. He's got a chance to be a very good player. When you put him out there in a tough situation for his first game snaps on offense, and you can expect there wouldn't be a lot of people that would succeed in that opportunity.
No, and it's not a criticism of him at all. I was just making the point. In fact, he could end up being a really good player, and you hope he will, but it was a tough situation to put him in. By the way, the 34-yard run by Mark Ingram was a sweep right, where he bounced it outside right, didn't go left, but just pointing that out too. But anyway, we'll see what happens with the Saints in Tampa Bay. The Pelicans are back home after a long 5-game West Coast road trip to play Denver on Friday night at New Orleans Arena. This is one of the teams that beat them on that road trip. The good news is they got Anthony Davis back. The bad news is Eric Gordon is dinged, and he's not playing that well anyway.
Yeah, he's not been the Eric Gordon maybe we expected. or at least that we'd seen coming in. Hasn't put up those consistently good numbers. You get a little flash once in a while, but yeah, it'd be interesting. You know, one interesting stat that surprised me about tonight, this game's already a sellout. And that's encouraging to see because this team's been away for 2 weeks, didn't have a great road trip at 1-4. Like you and I had talked about the last couple of times we spoke here. That's about what you had to expect in this situation. But coming home in front of a sellout crowd tonight, that will be a good atmosphere in the arena.
LSU arrived in Tampa for the Outback Bowl to take on Iowa. They're a touchdown favorite in this game. Does that surprise you with Zach Mettenberger being out?
Not totally, because I think this team is going to lean on trying to run the football. That's going to be the key matchup of this game in my mind, is going to be LSU's running game against Iowa's run defense. And Iowa's got a very good defense. But statistically, yes. But it's always one of the topics that comes up on New Year's Day. Just how good is the Big Ten Conference? You get 5 chances to see it on New Year's Day, just how good they really are.
Yep, and we'll find out about Anthony Jennings, too, with a full sampling of what he's able to do in a game after the one really good drive to win the Arkansas game. Of course, the Allstate Sugar Bowl, Alabama, Oklahoma, teams arriving in town this weekend, and the game coming up next week, and that will get played up, obviously. And even though the game doesn't mean much in terms of the national picture, this is a marquee matchup because of the nature of the two programs.
Yeah, historically, I'm amazed that these teams have never met in the Sugar Bowl. This will be the 80th game with the history that these two programs have combining for 20-some national championships, and they haven't played that much. And you're right. In terms of some of the blue bloods of the sport, or the crimson bloods in this case, if you will, they are right up at the top of the list.
They certainly are, and that pretty much wraps up what's going to be transpiring in our town and beyond this coming weekend. So enjoy the sports weekend. Hopefully some good news to report on Monday. Lenny, as always, thanks very much. Enjoyed it. Look forward to a great weekend.
I do as well. We'll see you Monday.
All right, that's our First NBC Bank Weekend Preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank with 32 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. For Lenny, I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend, and God bless.